When I was a little girl, that one day I would have the sea in my backyard and be wearing this in May and living close to my mum, my eyes would have gotten that big and I would have thought I'd won the lottery and they were a fairy godmother.
So because I remember you were saying, we were chatting, that you could never imagine that was possible.
So when I was little and freezing to death in Canberra, this seemed like a fantasy.
Come and show us.
And now it is happening.
So what's this out here?
That's true.
Is that
So
water?
Is that
water?
This is the sea in my backyard. I have the sea in my backyard.
You literally have the sea, well the river.
No, it's the sea. It comes from the sea. The sea
Oh
is
right,
there.
okay.
The sea is right there.
Yeah, wow.
Low tide.
I take that back.
Tidal.
Yeah, wow.
At high tide it's prettier.
Yeah, right.
But
Still looks quite pretty to
the
me.
ocean is right there.
Wow.
And I have 2 frangipani trees because I live in the tropics.
Wow, isn't that beautiful?
And I have a kayak that I can use from my backyard, which is incredible in the mornings.
So take us upstairs. Let's have a look
I
upstairs.
just bought it, so still lots to do to the place.
So you're saying that you could never imagine that this was possible?
Look, turn around and look at that.
Wow.
It's like, and this is low tide.
Yeah.
But yes,
You do have a bedroom.
You know, a river that comes out off the sea.
Lovely.
And, I have a barley hut as my next door neighbour. And yeah, no, it's
You're really happy?
really happy.
Yeah.
I have a bedroom with an ensuite, a balcony, the sea in my backyard. I live close to Mum, which is something I've always wanted. I live on the Gold Coast, and I have the most incredible group of friends here that I could have asked for, which really makes it all. But yeah, it is a dream.
The title of the video is how Jo manifested her dream property. And one of the things that I truly believe and know is that it's deciding what we want first and then figuring out the how. And what I thought we could do is hear a little bit of your backstory in relation to us having that conversation one day about you and what you wanted and what you thought wasn't possible and what was possible, and that whole journey that you've gone on to now bring this beautiful property that you just love by the water into reality. Shall we do that?
Yep.
Cool. But before we do, we're going to go downstairs out of the sun. Cool?
Okay.
So this is me behind the camera asking questions
Okay.
of my friend Jo.
So Jo, in the video that we just shared, you are at your home here in the day, and now we're here at night, well, sunset, and it's just beautiful here. And got the beautiful water here. And the reason I'm doing this video, as I just shared, is speaking to a lot of people about dreams and goals that they have, and let's face it, the fears that come with that. And I know you have thought a lot about buying a property, and let's face it, had some fears around that. So should we talk about that, and what did you think? What was your brain telling you that could potentially go wrong, and why it took you a while to make the decision?
Yeah, look, I had my deposit for a long time, so it was really stupid to sit on it for so long.
Like, I'm thinking it was, remember how long?
Probably 10 years. And yeah, so I guess I was trying to think before, what was the fear about? And it was fear of making a mistake. It was a fear of using my money incorrectly. It was a fear of not loving the place, having bought the wrong place, it not being a good investment, getting it and not loving it. And choosing which city I wanted to buy in as well. Where did I want to live? Where did I want the property? And just, it was probably ultimately a fear of getting it wrong. And I just sat on it for too long, but luckily not.
Real feelings that I think we all have, and maybe some a little more than others. And so, Jo, you work in government, right?
Yep.
And your job is a lot around managing risk and different things. I know you're a qualified lawyer too. So knowing that personality style, it would make sense that you would have those concerns in your mind. So why don't we fast forward it, and let's talk about for anyone watching this video, Joe and I are really good friends. We've known each other a long time, and I know the journey that she's gone on, and we've talked a lot about what she's wanted in property, and I know the path that you've been on. And I remember us having a conversation, and you had a property that you liked, but you weren't unsure. And I can just cut to it and say, well, Joe, just get what you want. Decide what you want, right? So can you tell us a little bit about, regardless of me being in that conversation, what happened there and what you went on to do?
Yeah, so I was looking at a property and I like kind of 80-90% loved it, but wasn't sure, had some hesitations. And I was like, is this fear or is it a real hesitation? And
what was it you didn't like about it?
Like details.
A lot of things.
There
There
were some things.
Yeah,
I didn't
yeah,
like
okay.
about it. Too much shade, not enough sunlight,
Okay.
things like that.
Yeah.
And I was with Trevor one day and I sort of told him some of the things that I, was concerned about, and he really validated my feelings and validated what I was thinking and said, wait for what. And I actually said, there's this street on the creek in the location that I want on the river that, and I don't know if I should hold out for that. And I said, I really want a waterfront property, but I'll never be able to afford a waterfront property. And Trevor said, you will get your waterfront property, hold out for what you want, and you have some valid concerns about this other property, and you will get what you want. And just kind of validated how I was feeling and said, you can have what you want ultimately. And so I didn't buy that property, and I was relieved when I made that decision. And then I found this place on the river, which is what I wanted all along. So Trevor was right, and it happened like a few months later, and I was like,
cry.
Trevor, from your lips to God's ear, it happened. So I was so grateful.
Well, thank you, and I do think that very often I'm helping my sister with a home loan at the moment, and she comes to me and says, I found this, but it doesn't have this and doesn't have that, because I know what her wish list is, and I've gone, sis, only focus on what you want, only focus on what you want. And she's got a budget. There's constraints that we have to work within, but I know what she wants in a property she can get in that budget, but she's just got to stay focused on it. So Joe, now that you've done it, the fears and concerns that you've had for some years, have any of those come true?
No.
No.
No. I'm happy.
Yeah.
I'm happy with it.
And if you were to share with anyone some helpful advice that could be wanting to, maybe they're a professional single woman who wants to buy a property or an investment and has some fears, what would be some tips that you might want to give them to have more confidence to be able to move forward and go take that leap, take that step?
Wow. I guess follow your gut feeling, probably.
Around going for what you want?
Around going for what you want.
And don't take what you don't want?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
But I guess one thing I learned was that, I was so scared of wasting my deposit, but not being that if I didn't buy the dream place straight up, then that I would have lost my chance to. But actually, the minute you invest in property, you've actually got more. Hopefully, you've got more than you had before, and then you can go on, potentially to buy other things or bigger things. So maybe don't be so afraid to invest. Would be like, if I had invested it 10 years ago, I would be a lot better off than I am now. So sitting on it was a mistake, and so I think investing is wise. Do your research, talk to a lot of people. Talk to a lot of people who know about the industry, research, and then follow your gut feeling, and I guess don't be afraid to get into the market.
Yeah, great, thank you. And I heard a great quote: a good decision implemented is better than the perfect that is never. Yeah. And I think about myself with buying shares over the years and investing in property and different things, that if we are willing to be bothered to overcome fear and go do it, and it's even a reasonable property that might not even tick all the boxes, it will eventually perform. Yeah. And I would like to add to, regardless of me being involved in this conversation, if I could add to that, Joe, seek good professional help.
Yep.
a good finance broker or a good finance advisor broker, a good mentor. And again, not just to say that whether it's me or anyone, but I do feel that getting good advice, especially around areas that we don't know a lot about, helps us to minimize risk and maximize return.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say there's two elements to it. One is the emotional side, and then there's the logistics and all of the, like the rational stuff, the finance and all that. And
Yeah.
that was a huge learning curve for me. How to approach a bank, a mortgage broker, who to go to, how a mortgage works, what an offset account is. It was a huge learning curve, and it was so daunting that I just didn't want to do it. I just kind of wanted to avoid it and just focus on the emotional side, but that's only going to get you so far, and you really need all that other stuff to make good decisions and to actually make it happen. So, talking to the right people and having someone help you with all of that hard stuff is a huge help.
Yeah, cool. Well, thank you again. High five, my friend.
Thanks, Trev.
Well done, and thanks so much for sharing your story.
That's okay. Thanks for sharing my nice.
Yeah, well,
home. I
let's
have a home now.
it's a little dark here, but let's there is a beautiful what would we call this? This is
It's a river.
it's a river, and just down there goes out to the ocean. But Joe, thank you, and I really appreciate your time and sharing your story.
Thank you. Thanks for helping me warm it.
My pleasure.
Thanks.